everyone. My name is Jenna Alami.
And I'm Daniel Einum, and this is Argo News. The annual Senior Bowl took place in Mobile 2 weeks ago, but what is so important about this game, and how does it affect this year's top seniors? Argo News reporter Savannah Taylor has more on the story.
It's that time of year again. It's time for the annual Senior Bowl. What does that game really mean for hopeful NFL draft picks? Mark Cook tells us more.
Well, I mean, this is a different type game. This is an all-star game. This isn't like this is players made up from teams all around the country. The best seniors in their class come to Mobile to showcase themselves in front of NFL executives and front office personnel, coaches and scouts and things like that. So what these kids are trying to do is really improve their draft position. The draft's coming up in May. And, you know, you can have a kid who maybe is looked at as a 7th round draft pick, come out here, have a great week of practice, impress the scouts, and he could end up being a 3rd round draft pick, which is a huge difference in the amount of money that they're going to make. Same thing that can happen with a younger guy who improves their draft stock. You can absolutely hurt your draft stock. And you see some of the guys who are projected as 1st rounders decline to come to this game at times because they don't have anything left to prove. If you're a top 15 draft pick in the 1st round, you know, if you come out here and you have a bad game or a bad week of practice, I mean, you could lose, you know, positioning. You could go from 15, maybe drop down to 30th. And again, every slot, it's money, you know, from that first spot all the way down to the very last pick. So, you know, that's a problem that can happen with some guys. And that's the reason you don't see certain players that come to this game, is because they've already kind of solidified themselves as a top 10 or a top 15 draft pick, and they don't really have anything to gain. You know, there's several players to keep an eye on out here. But really, you know, finding those diamonds in a rough, that's where these GMs and scouts and pro player personnel guys really earn a living, is finding those diamonds in a rough, a guy who really isn't highly sought or thought of. And again, find a guy that you can get in the 5th or 6th or 7th round and he could actually contribute and help your football team. Again, being out here showcasing what they can do in front of the people that make the decisions is important, because even if they're not drafted, a scout may say, hey, I remember that kid from Tulane who looked good in an 8-on-8 drill, and so let's bring him in and give him a chance. So there's been plenty of guys in the NFL, guys that are stars, guys that are in the Pro Bowls that played in this game that never got drafted, and yet they're some of the best players in the NFL.
And that's your insight on this year's Senior Bowl. I'm Savannah Taylor, reporting for Argo News.
You know we're getting our own football team.
That's right. The University of West Florida has officially hired their first ever football coach. Here's reporter Jordan Grinnell.
The University of West Florida might already have 13 great sports, but they're adding one more to the program.
I really love the opportunity. Again, I do like building. Obviously, if I didn't like building, I wouldn't do this. And so, you know, having done this once, feel very good about knowing the ins and outs of what it's going to look like. But I think UWF is an exciting place right now. I think the future is extremely bright. Football will add to that, I know, and it'll add to that in a positive way. We want great young men who are going to fit into this campus, who are going to be men of character, who can play the game of football at a very high level. We want guys who understand, you know, what team is all about, and guys who are going to, anytime they're away from campus or away from the practice field or the game field, going to do a great job representing UWF and what all the other students are doing as well. We're going to start the hiring process with staff. We're going to start the recruitment process of players, and then also, you know, reach out to the campus and reach out to the community in just giving them an opportunity to get to know what we're trying to accomplish and how we're trying to do it. I've been around the game my entire life. I've been a coach for 25 years, a head coach for 15. I think that in and of itself, I think, would help me. But the fact that we've obviously built a program before and been through these steps of what's about to take place and how it's going to take place, I feel good about that enhancing this experience for everybody. We want to recruit the student body to, you know, obviously be at our games. They're going to be off campus for a couple years. We want them to be involved. We want them to be around. But it's just going to start, you know, one student at a time, just continuing to let them know that, you know, we're going to need their support to be a great D2 football program. Our students are going to have to come out and support us. They're going to have to be at our games. They're going to have to cheer for us. Our players have got to know they've got their back. And we want to create a great fan opportunity for our students at our games.
The University of West Florida is finally preparing for their first ever football team. Go Argos! I'm Jordan Grinnell with Argo News.
So what if football is not my thing?
Well, if you want to play contact sport and don't want to wait until the football team starts, why not consider rugby?
Are you thinking about joining a team or a sport? Well, if so, rugby may be the sport for you.
It's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Or you can call our club president, William Neild. I love it. It's a lot different from football. It's a lot more intense, but it's a lot more fun and a lot more rewarding. To begin with, it's continuous play. You got 15s and 7s is basically the two types of rugby. 7s is basically 7-on-7, and it's more of a fast-paced, quick game compared to 15s, which is more of a overall run in the contact, basically try to just pound your way through the others and score. 7s, like I said, is more quick-paced. You have more faster guys, basically just the same size field, so there's no difference, but it's just more of a sprint instead of just more like a jog. Injuries will happen, but serious ones not that common actually. The most that it's completely free up until we need dues, which is basically honestly the least costing of all the sports clubs, which is just $30 a semester. It's completely free up until we need dues, which is basically honestly the least costing of all the sports clubs, which is just $30 a semester. There's multiple positions, but I usually play all over the place. You have two different sets. You have the forwards and the backs. Forwards are more of the bigger guys who do a lot of the running and tackling. The backs are usually the quicker guys who basically can outrun the others. For the forwards, I usually play flanker, which is usually the first person to make contact off of scrum. In the backs, I usually play inside, which is mainly the bigger back who just dives into basically contact. Our biggest rival this semester will have to be UNF. With all of us, it's kind of a head-on-head each time. We never know who's really going to win because it's that even with us. It's also a lot of fun because they're a great bunch of guys.
The University of West Florida's rugby team are looking for more players. I'm Najee Moye, reporting for Argo News.
We all know there are plenty of clubs here at UWF. Our reporter Rebecca Bartley has more for anyone that might be interested.
If you're interested in martial arts, the JiuJitsu club might be the club for you.
We've got a core group of about 10 to 15 members, give or take exams and finals and whatnot, with other people just from around the area or from different styles coming in just to try it out, maybe get into grappling a little more. So you go from the most basic rank of white and you go through yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, and black, which sounds like a lot, but it's like most upwards of 40 classes, and then you can take another belt test. And for poor college kids, it's relatively cheap, only $20 a test. Well, I'm currently a brown belt, and this is mostly a self-defense class, so a lot of the sports club activity requirements of doing events and fundraisers and things is a little challenging, to say the least, but it's definitely rewarding.
Basically, there are different variations of jiu-jitsu. The style of jiu-jitsu that we practice is not Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is mostly just grappling, ground intensive. It's Bushikan jiu-jitsu, or a variation of that, which goes back to the samurai days, where they were training in how to fight somebody if somebody else was armed and had armor and they had nothing but their own hands. Well, we're open to students, but we're also open to the HLS facility charges for a usual gym membership, so we're open to people that want to come in there. We've had people, usually mostly students, but if people come from other places and want to get an experience with us, they're more than welcome to.
Most of the time we go in there at the group fitness time, we'll start with the warm-up and then do either a light workout, stand-up or grappling-wise, and then eventually, usually in club time, we'll break off into the different testing areas with higher belts teaching the lower belts, and we try to facilitate a nice, fun atmosphere, have some laughs, share some stories, but you're still learning and hopefully dedicated at the same time.
So if you want to learn to defend yourself, the JiuJitsu Club meets every Tuesday and Thursday night in the UWF gym. I'm Rebecca Bartley reporting for Argo News.
Working out has become a fad this year. Check out more ways to work out rather than spending all day at the gym. Here's reporter Amanda Diamond.
Working out is a #1 priority for a lot of people these days, but working out doesn't have to just consist of the gym and lifting weights. The University of West Florida offers fitness classes you can go to and work out and have fun. Things such as Zumba and kickboxing. Let's check out Turbo Kick.
Turbo Kick is a high-impact cardio aerobic fitness class where we borrow from boxing and karate and all the martial arts, their moves to get your heart rate moving and to get some toning and structure going on, but mostly it's primarily a cardio kickboxing class. Structured for an hour, but it can be broken up into 30 minutes, 45 minutes, however long you have. We can adjust the time to accommodate the time. We adjust the routine to accommodate the time. To teach a hip hop hustle, which is a dance kind of cardio aerobic class. Also Kayo, which is a combination of Pilates, yoga, strength, toning, and some cardio with up-to-date popular hip-hop music, cardio aerobic class. So it's cardio, but yes, it's not a muscle building, but you will gain muscles toning and strength. So we do a lot of squats and lunges and plyometrics, and I've been teaching this for about 8 years.
See, working out can be fun. I'm Amanda Diamond with Argo News.
The majority of UWF undergraduates are making healthy choices, at least according to data from a National College Health Assessment survey from fall 2013. But that doesn't mean college students aren't without some problems. Argo News reporter Sarah Richards has more.
UWF's Health, Wellness, and Counseling Center educates students on problems from sleep difficulties to alcohol and drug abuse, and even offers personal counseling.
Wellness services, the Wellness Center, the entire building actually offers 3 distinct services. So we have health services. It's just like a general practitioner's office. You go in if you're not feeling well, for women's preventative health, for regular checkups, those types of things. And then we also have counseling services where students can come and get individual, couples, or group therapy. We also have psychiatry services as well, and so health and counseling works together with their psychiatrist. And then we have wellness services, which does all of the prevention and outreach, and we manage the massage chairs for students. And then we go out into the campus and we talk with them about a variety of issues, giving them education so that they can reduce risks and look back and be both hopefully academically and personally successful while they're here.
A recent report released by the White House revealed another issue college students may face. The Rape and Sexual Assault, a renewed call to action report revealed 1 in 5 female college students have been sexually assaulted, and only 12% report the incident.
We find that many students come to us with very little education about their sexual health, but have an interest in this area. They come with very little education about alcohol or other substances, and about sexual violence. Oftentimes they've either gotten no education or they've only heard learned from what they've seen with different media sources that they have. And so when we challenge them to think critically about issues related to sexual violence in ways that they've never done that before, it really can be a very kind of categorically different path that they have for themselves and how they interact with the world and influence things like sexual violence in our world.
To set up a counseling appointment, attend a wellness workshop, or just schedule a free massage, visit uwf.edu/wellness. I'm Sarah Richards reporting for Argo News.
These toys may be nostalgic, but they are fast becoming the center of a new workout that is being introduced to the Emerald Coast.
Guess what old toy is getting a new spin at Destin Pilates Center?
Here at the Destin Pilates Center, we're certified to teach Hoopnautica, and we teach the Hoop Fit Hoopnautica curriculum. Hoop Fit is a fitness program using a hula hoop. We use a hula hoop as a ballet bar for a little bit of stability. And then we also use it like a Pilates magic ring for a little bit of resistance training. And then we hula hoop with it, and I teach my students how to hula hoop and the appropriate posture and how to use what we call power points to power our hula hoop and keep it on an even plane. In my class, you get actually a full body workout. because you use the hoop for above hand, above your head, and all kinds of different exercises. I am the newest member here at the Destin Pilates Center, but I've actually been hula hooping for 5 years, and I've been a student of Hoop Nautica since 2008. Hula hooping had become really popular, and it's really exploded over on the West Coast, and it's really popular now in New York, but it's slowly trickling down to Florida. Locally in the Pensacola area, we have a group called Pensacola Hoop Tribe, and it's a group of people, all ages, all skill levels. They post hoop meetups in parks in the area, and they all meet up, total strangers, but you become friends and you make friends, and everyone's always very generous and willing to help you and teach you new tricks. Pensacola is really growing in that area, so we're very excited to have something new and fresh and something like that coming to Pensacola, because we've never had that before, and it's exciting.
Even I can't stay out of the middle of this revolution. Be sure to check out Destin Pilates Center online. And that's the way the hoop spins. This is Seth Patterson reporting for Argo News.
There are lots of ways to get creative when it comes to decorating household items. Here to tell us about one unique opportunity is reporter Nicole Campbell.
Almost everyone has a favorite coffee cup, but how many people can say that they've made theirs?
I've been bisque fired once, so all you have to do is come in and we provide the paint, brushes, and firings, and you just decorate your pottery. It's for the person who doesn't want to invest a lot in their own paint brushes and in a kiln, that would like to, to give gifts or paint something for themselves. I would say that the best thing is about having a business like this is that it's a family-oriented business, and people are coming as looking for an opportunity to express themselves artistically, and you can't get that by going to the mall or driving through a drive-through to pick up some food. We're offering something different for people to be creative, and it offers me a flexible schedule so that I can be more of a participant in our family. Mainly just to give it a try. No one has to be an artist to come in here and do things. Even if you're not crafty with the paintbrush, and a lot of people aren't, we have tools, whether it's sponges or polka dot makers and stamps and stencils, to where anybody can do this. From very young children to senior citizens, it's not there's no really limit to anybody. Even people with arthritis and things like that can really do some cool things.
So go on out and experience killing time for yourself. I'm Nicole Campbell reporting for Argo News.
Speaking of decorating, are you a fan of contemporary work? Or maybe you prefer postmodern works? Reporter Daniel Lynham has a story that's easier said than drawn.
Looking for something to do downtown that doesn't involve a baseball game? We've got the perfect thing for you.
It became an arts center in 1954, but it was the city jail from 1909 to 1954. And it held a courtroom and I believe a dog catcher, police, chief of police offices, as well as the cells for both men and women. And the county jail is actually the Pensacola Little Theater now, across the street from us. So it has kind of a storied history. The museum has a permanent collection, which is artwork that's in our care. We have about 300 accessioned works, and those comprise what we have here of our permanent collection, which is actually on exhibition right now, but throughout the year, our exhibitions consist mostly of traveling exhibitions. So we'll have one exhibition downstairs and a different exhibition upstairs, and they come from anywhere from a local collector to a larger traveling exhibition that's been to other museums in the country. Different places, but we're always kind of changing it up to keep people's interest.
With over 300 permanent works of art, the Pensacola Museum of Art may have something just for you. This has been Daniel Lynham reporting for Argo News. The good thing about artwork, it's not loud. Reporter Frankie Mariano has a story from New Orleans.
A potential bill involving sound levels has been causing quite a stir here in the city of New Orleans.
The general proposal is to afford the local property owners more protection against the noise of the French Quarter, specifically the bars. And the fundamentals are that the property owners would like to have someone in charge in City Hall to review and enforce the noise measurements that they propose in their 7-point plan. The nighttime level that they would like the bars to be capped at is about 70 maximum level. And the 70 maximum level is equivalent to your vacuum cleaner about 10 feet away. That is the analogy of 70 decibels that they would like the noise to stop at. I think that fundamentally, you know, it's difficult to say how much enforcement would play a role. In other words, you have a noise ordinance, and that may affect certain areas of the city, but whether or not somebody's there to fine you appropriately is really the issue that's going to come about. If the NOPD and the Urban Housing Development is the other agency that would patrol the area, if they rigorously enforced it, it would be a huge detriment to our city. Anyone that comes here reminisces in sashaying down Bourbon Street and Frenchman Street, which are two of the commercial districts in the quarter, and they love hearing the different music from the different venues.
The bill is up for vote next month, and we'll see if the band plays on. I'm Frankie Mariano with Argo News.
A local business is starting to create a new entertainment craze for people of the Florida Panhandle and beyond.
Are you looking for a fun and unique form of entertainment in your local community? The Dream Players Theater might just be for you then.
There's several different dinner shows in theater. Theater's fantastic. When you get on stage, you go and you watch a show, you have these four walls that the actors aren't allowed to break. When you go and do dinner theater, you go and watch the show and you eat at the same time. That's a whole nother experience too. But what we do is we take that fourth wall down and actually include the audience into our shows, making it interactive. And it's an experience you can't get anywhere else. So you can go watch theater live shows and live performances, but to be able to interact with the audience, it just gives you a whole different and unique experience that you really can't get anywhere else but here. You can go to the movies and pay that ticket price, pay the concessions price, go out for dinner on top of that, and spend all this money. What I wanted to do was create something that was affordable, that you could come and have dinner and a show at a price you can't do anywhere else. And to be able to play a giant game of Clue on top of that, where you get to, somebody gets murdered and you get to try to solve that, is just fantastic and adds to, it's like the icing on the cake basically. We have a lot of things in the works, but really we want to become a household name. I want to be a destination place. We just acquired a theater in June. We are transforming it over. We renovated it to become the dinner theater part of it, and the other side is a black box theater. So we have two venues we can work and do all kinds of shows in, but really we want everybody to know we exist and come to us to enjoy themselves and have a great time with something that's different and unique in this area.
The Dream Players Theater hopes to bring an exciting and unique form of entertainment to the local community that anyone can enjoy. I'm Max Natsity, reporting for Argo News.
How can UWF students with tight budgets get help if they need food? Reporter Chris Thrasher contacted the Dean of Students office to find out.
The University of West Florida Dean of Students office is providing food for students in need.
Last year, 2013, I had done a presentation for counseling and psychological services and talking about some of the needs that students have on campus. So afterwards, Dr. Kia Wiggins, one of our psychologists in that department, asked me, she said, well, Dr. Wiley, are we going to open a food pantry? And I thought, well, of course we are. It was her question that led us to thinking about what are some next steps for the University of West Florida. I contacted Manna Food Bank and said, here's what we're thinking about doing, can you help us? they were so excited to say yes. They provide the food, they bring the food out, we call them and tell them when we need it. And when we do have our campus drive for food, and hopefully for other items as well, any of the food collected will be turned over to Manna Food Bank, and then they package it and bring to us stuff that meets FDA guidelines. So they're taking the lead in that, so we don't even have to wonder about how it should be put together, because it's their area of expertise, and we simply say thank you for the food. And students can come one time a week. They come to the Dean of Students office, and depending on whether or not they have dependents, they will either receive one bag or a little more than that. We anticipate, once we're fully hitting the ground and ready to go, that the use of the pantry will explode. We're looking forward to serving our students to make sure the last thing they have to worry about is where the next meal is coming from.
If you'd like to help support the Argo Pantry, please drop off your non-perishables at the Dean of Students office. I'm Christopher Thrasher, reporting for Argo News.
At the moment, the Dean of Students office is only accepting donations from members of the University of West Florida campus and the greater Pensacola area.
There are always student clubs and organizations for students to join on campus. Here is Bradley Latorno reporting for UWF Greek Life.
There's lots to do as a student here at UWF, but have you ever checked out Greek Life?
My role in IFC is Vice President of Marketing. My main goals are to have the events and make them more recognizable on campus, not only for Greeks but also non-Greeks. My role is to bring in more revenue, and that not only means by money but also new potential members to join the fraternities. My personal retrospect on the whole getting involved on campus is kind of skewed. I actually have 2 jobs. I'm on IFC, I'm Vice President of Pi Kappa Alpha, and I play for the University of West Florida's tennis team. Now, I enjoy it because I feel personally the more I'm doing, the more productive I am, the better I'm building a resume. Additionally, keeps me out of trouble. Now, this might sound a little odd, but my favorite event that IFC does is actually our exec board meetings. It's a group of 5 of us, all from different fraternities, and I get to meet with them weekly, get to talk about their ups and downs, my ups and downs, what we're personally going to do to build IFC, not our general just fraternities. My first preference is to build greater Greek unity. That's a big thing on IFC, generalizing from looking from the outside in, not just your own personal fraternity, but to actually look in how other fraternities are ran, how it should be, how a board should run things, and the actual production. Additionally, with the larger spread of people coming to the University of West Florida, we'd like a Greek row, which then would entail a large percentage increase of new potential members.
If you have any more questions about Greek life here at University of West Florida, feel free to come up to the Greek Affairs office upstairs in the Commons. My name is Bradley Laterno for Argo News.
The UWF Greek community is very active on campus, philanthropically, socially, and academically. Reporter Lauren Tannenbaum gives an inside look on one member's Greek experience.
Did you know that only 7% of the UWF undergraduate student population is Greek?
Going Greek provides you with so many opportunities. You can have leadership positions where you can plan events, you can help your other sisters or brothers or whatever out. It helps you socially. I know I personally have met so many people through Going Greek, and I've met some of my absolute best friends. In the spring, we hold a Greek week, and that's where all the Greek community comes together, and we play sports and have activities and things like that where all the Greeks come together. And there is a community service day where we volunteer for and to help out around our community. And then each sorority and each fraternity has their own philanthropy event. For Phi Sig, our philanthropy is school and college readiness. So some things we've done like recently is we've volunteered at elementary schools, helping them paint, and anything that they need help with. And you can use, other sororities can use their philanthropies to get them out there as well. We volunteer a lot. We do, we help with events, and we host events at our UWF personally. And we just really, if anyone needs anything, then we're just there to help and support and volunteer and give them our time. Going Greek has really broadened my horizons to things that I never even knew were possible. If you ever get the opportunity to go Greek, I encourage you to go out there and do it. I am forever grateful for my opportunity, so I wish the same for you guys.
If you'd like more information about being Greek, please contact the Greek Affairs Office, which is located upstairs in the Commons, or visit their website, uwf.edu/GreekAFF. I'm Lauren Tannenbaum, reporting for Argo News.
The Socratic Society on the University of West Florida campus seeks to discuss matters of life through philosophy. Graham Clark has the story.
Are you looking for somewhere to discuss matters of ethics, morals, or perhaps life in general? Or perhaps the Socratic Society at the University of West Florida is the place for you?
Socratic Society has been around since the conception of West Florida, actually. It's probably the oldest group on campus. I mean, at least that's what's been claimed. But yeah, we found some things that go back to 1967. I want to show the practicality and applicability of philosophy to students who are not in the department or also in the department as well. But I also want to show the critical thinking and communication skills are as important as anything else that you'll learn in the university environment. An involvement with Pensacola Senior College every once in a while that we'll go and have meetings with them as well. As well as we are trying to get more established within the community and do more community service, but most of our things are within the university environment. My hope is to have at least a rolling 10 people coming into these meetings and discussing not just what is considered philosophical ideas, but important ideas in society, like how we should treat people, how we should react in the work environment, sustainable living, things like that, very important issues, and I would hope that it expands a little bit further and that we can have a more conscious student body. Nothing is really forbidden in these meetings. Usually we want to make sure that we regulate what we speak of, but most of the time you can have somebody come in with a crazy idea. We try to conduct ourselves as best. We've had hot topic things such as subversion, abortion, mistreatment of minorities, racial issues, things like that, and we've been able to go over them rather well. So as long as people are not hostile about this in the environment, nothing is forbidden.
No matter who you are or what you believe in, the Socratic Society at the University of West Florida accepts all comers. For Argo News, I'm Graham Clark.
If philosophy isn't your cup of tea, then maybe SGA could be for you. Argo News reporter Joanne Broxson has more on the association.
Are you looking for somewhere to discuss matters of ethics, morals, or perhaps...
UWF loves to provide activities to keep their students social and active. One way is through SGA.
Student government's here for the students. We have senators that represent their constituents. Senators go out, get the word, feedback from the students, and we of course voice that to the administration. We really have two branches. One's the legislative side with the Senate, and then the other is the cabinet, which is what I'm over. The legislative side is more of the business. They go through all the bills, resolutions. Meanwhile, on my side of things, the cabinet side, they do the events like Blizzard Bash. We were out there with a table. We do Paint Your Pride, and we're working on another program called Chalk Your Pride. We have Senate every Friday. Student orgs can come, any representative can come. It's open to any student or anybody in the community, but it's every Friday at 2:30. Other than when we do leadership development. This is the first year we've actually had this leadership development series. And I believe it's so helpful to the senators. They get real working experience passing legislation and bills, but not only that, they get to work with each other. And currently we are looking for some election commissioners. So there's an application that you don't even have to print off a piece of paper. It's all electronic. You can go to uwf.edu/SGA, and it's under the resource tab. In terms of the students, we're really working on trying to reach out to students more. We've been doing this project called Write It Out Wednesday, and we've been doing SGA Day, really trying to promote school pride. Please come out to Senate at Fridays at 2:30 in the Commons Auditorium and really help us out. Give your voice so we can do something.
If you're interested in becoming a member of UWF's SGA, just come to the second floor of the Commons, room 227. This is Joanne Broxson reporting for Argo News.
Not sure what to do for spring? Argo News reporter Shannon Hemmings has an idea.
Are you tired of having the same old spring break routine?
ASB stands for Alternative Spring Break, and Alternative Spring Break is a program where students can go for spring break if they don't have anything else to do, or if they don't want to go home for whatever reason. They can all go to an all-expense paid trip to a state which is decided on and do nothing but community service, as well as have fun and just a good way to interact with other people from campus that you normally don't. Last year was actually my first year as the director for Alternative Spring Break, and we made a trip to Houston, Texas, which was quite phenomenal. We did various projects. We did Habitat for Humanity. We built a house. That was awesome. We also helped out with Catholic Charity Ministries. We helped fold clothes and separate some things, and that's an organization, for people who are in the military. They come, they really don't have much, or people who come from overseas, immigrants of that nature, and they come help them get them on their feet. I mean, it's amazing. If you like helping people, if you want to give back to the community, if you have nothing else to do for spring break, I mean, why not? Well, anyone who wants to help other people make that sacrifice to spend my spring break, I could easily go to Panama City or Miami, the places where everyone goes for spring break, especially in college. But if you have a lot of people who are committed, who want to make an impact in other people's lives, just to come together and share that passion of helping others is just a phenomenal experience.
ASB, the Alternative Spring Break Program, is the perfect opportunity to help others, to travel, and to have fun. I'm Shannon Hemmings, reporting for Argo News.
If you haven't selected a major yet, our reporter James Miles may have an option you haven't considered.
Do you like kids? Why not try the education program here at UWF?
I had a teacher in second grade who basically taught me how to read and write and spell and pretty much everything useful in life that just kind of inspired me to help others. The education program has a lot of classes. I mean, they're actually restructuring the education program at UWF because of the course loads. There's just way too many. Definitely plan ahead of time. One of my mistakes was not planning my courses ahead of time. I just kind of took them as I felt like taking them, and having them in order and not deviating from the structure that your advisor gives you is really smart. When you take the classes, they really build upon each other. So if you take them out of order, sometimes you'll just have a class, I know all of this, I've done this so many times, and you really should have taken that way before you did. And then some of the classes are much more difficult and they just expect you to know a lot more than you do. There's certain projects that you have to do that are hands-on, like behavioral management projects, like this student has this problem, and then your project is working towards fixing it. You aren't graded on whether you actually help them or not, but you need to go through and learn the processes of addressing behavioral issues with students. The whole education program at UWF is very elementary school focused, so there's a lot of tools and materials geared towards younger people. But I still use the curriculum library a lot. It's nice to be around other education people, so when I have a question like, oh, what's this word in the context of education, I'm around people that can help me figure it out.
The future of education starts here and now. I'm James Miles reporting for Argo News.
As students progress in their educations, internships become increasingly important when preparing for your career. Here is reporter Corinne Williams with more on interning.
UWF's Communication Arts Department offers internship opportunities for you to gain experience in your field of study and also receive college credit.
I work with the student one-on-one, and I basically talk with the student about what they'd like to do after they graduate and try to secure an internship that will give them the experience they need to get into that job. The requirements to intern for 3 credits is you have to keep a weekly blog, and it's 2 to 3 paragraphs a week that you send to me. That's part of the requirement. The other requirement is to attend 2 meetings during your internship. The intern supervisor will evaluate the student twice, once at midterm, once during the final week of your internship, and then it is a pass-fail grade. The student can find an internship on their own. However, I do have a master list of about 60 internships available. Most of them are local. We do have students who go out of town. For example, this semester we have a student in Los Angeles. We also have another student in Jacksonville, Florida. First thing you need to do is go online to fill out an online application. The second thing is to update your resume and let me take a look at it. I can edit it, and then we'll discuss where you might like to intern, and then you actually go to the interview. The internship is not required to graduate. However, it's highly recommended in all of our programs. It's an elective in all of the programs in advertising, public relations, communication, telecom, and print journalism.
Contact your department's internship director to get a head start on your career. I'm Corinne Williams, reporting for Argo News.
No one really knows what the future holds. Graduation may seem daunting, but anyone has the potential to achieve the ultimate goals in life. Here's Argo reporter, Jenna Alami.
Graduation sounds like a scary step. However, with the right attitude, that scary step can become a leap of joy.
Being here at GWF, it really shows you that you're a part of something bigger. There's so much that you can do, and the opportunities are endless. So in 5 years, hopefully I can start living a little bit of that dream. An advice that I would give to Laura classmen is to get involved. That is the key to everything. Use your resources, get involved as much as you can, and focus on school, because after those 4 years are over, the experiences you're going to gain with all these organizations and all the things with the opportunities that you have taken, it's going to change who you are always to the better, and you're going to have a better chance of being ready out there for that world. And definitely see career services, because they definitely help. Really, career services and using their resources helps you already start thinking about that beginning of freshman year, to where, but once you're done with all 4 or 5 years, you're just kind of ready to hit the ground running with no obstacles in the way.
Nothing is impossible. Shoot for the stars and the moon. I'm Jenna Alami, reporting for Argo News. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jenna Alami.
And I'm Daniel Lynham, and this is Argo News.